Let's bring in our guest to discuss. Joining us this hour, National Trial Attorney Michael Jaafar. Michael, nice to see you. Okay, what did you get from her testimony?
Well, more of the same from the other kids. Obviously, Scott was a much different witness, but for her, you know, saying that their parents' relationship was odd, saying that her mom's story was not lining up, it's a Shakespearean tragedy that the jury is watching, because here are this woman's kids. They look just like her. They're testifying against her for the murder of their father, and one of the kids, the prior witness, Scott, was one of the people that the person she's accusing of committing the murder instead of her. Complete Shakespearean tragedy. I want to see more emotion. If I was her attorney and she was my client, I would be taking her outside in the hallway after the first break of the first day of trial and say, even if you don't believe this, I need you to go in there and cry. Go buy like Visine and put it on your eyes and cry. Feel emotional. Take the pearls off. Take the expensive earrings off. Go in there and be emotional. So she is actually feeding into their the reason I say this and the reason it's relevant is because she's feeding into their testimony. You asked me what I thought about their testimony. Their testimony is bad for the defendant. It's very bad for the defendant. The way that the defendant quells this is by emoting differently, because these are small rooms, right? We're looking at it on TV. It looks like a bigger room than it is. Looks like a conference room. It's not. It's a really small, tiny, intimate room. Those courtrooms they're not built for media cases. They're built decades ago when the media was not involved in these cases. So they are small rooms. The jury, we don't see them on camera. They're sitting probably 5 feet away from her. And so the jury is looking at her. If you ever watch any documentary about any case, people always talk about the physical reaction of jurors upon testimony. Well, the jurors are going to have weeks of this stuff. I can't stand this woman. The jury obviously is not going to stand her. And her case is an eminently reasonable case. You haven't asked me, we'll talk about it later, but there's a big orb of reasonable doubt in the case as to whether or not she did this, but she's covering it up with her courtroom demeanor. And obviously, again, it does not help you that your kids are testifying against you. The defense attorney can argue it later and say, look, anytime a marriage falls apart, kids usually side with one of the parents. That doesn't mean that the parent that they don't side with murdered the other parent. And here's why my client did not murder her husband, right? But it's sad. It's a tragedy that her kids are testifying against her. And one last thing, Kelly, the defense attorney, again, he's more so, his courtroom demeanor and his cadences are more related to like a mob case, not really so much for a case where a family tragedy is unfolding before our eyes. So that's just one thing I want to throw out there. But yeah, I think these witnesses did good.